Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
The race to 6G. Crazy, right? Just a couple of months ago or even a year ago, we were all excited that, the iPhone 12 had 5G capability. Everyone was, getting their hands on 5G, and we were like, wow, this is fast, this is good, this is cool. But what if I told you the race to 6G is now on, and 5G might actually be a thing of the past. And now, I'm going to be telling you guys what you need to know about the ultra high speed post 5G world. Fun fact though, only about 30% of the world uses 5G, but the global race for super fast 6G is now on. Now, you've obviously heard about 3G, 4G, and 5G. Each one is different generations of wireless networks, and it is a continuous progression that can sometimes be too fast to keep track of. Now, I remember 3G was, groundbreaking from the 2G, and then we had 4G, and a lot of people actually didn't complain about 4G. 4G was pretty good. It took a while for us to get to 5G, but once we felt the capability, the fastness of 5G, we kind of never wanted to go back. And sometimes I do get a little bit annoyed when my data goes to 4G instead of 5G. But now we're looking at a whole new playing field with 6G. Now, as of now, 5G is just getting rolled out across the planet. Like I said, only 30% of the world uses 5G right now. But 6G plans are already underway and possibly will be providing internet connections to outer space, believe it or not. Now, we're going to be telling you the lowdown on 6G. Now, the question is, does 6G really exist? Now, on paper, it does. And there was some experimental networks, and yes, it does work. But 6G is just a breath away from 5G, but it's actually a massive jump in functionality, speed, and coverage. And there's a flood of innovations with at least 20,000 patented applications related to 6G alone. Now, in simple terms, it is in the trial stages, and 6G does have a good chance of making 5G a has-been in the mobile dating networking sector. And again, we do know that 5G was crazy. I think I was getting around 700 megabytes per second on my phone when 5G first rolled out. But the question is, why are we so excited for 6G? Why are we racing to 6G already when 5G does seem to be doing the job? So I'm going to be telling you what makes it different from 5G. Now, theoretically, 6G could, supersede the existing networks and help make them a completely new type of internet. And that would be done using higher frequency radio bands. And 6G does promise a much faster speed and lower latency. So you're not looking at the well-known lag because you're having very fast and stable connections. Now, as of January 2020, commercial 5G networks have been deployed in around 378 cities across 34 countries. Now, another estimate does show that as of February 2021, over 30% of the world's countries do have access to 5G. And by the way, fun fact, the UAE does have the fastest 5G network. Continuing the story, some estimates do forecast that by 2025, we will reach around 3.6 billion 5G connections. Now, why is it so necessary? Why are we looking towards 6G so much? Because, it's the faster we go to 6G, because we are looking at moon. We're looking at the moon right now. We're looking at space travel. We're looking at going to Mars. We're looking at the International Space Station. And if we can get 6G connections on the moon in space, do you know what kind of game changer that could be? That would essentially change how we connect with one another. Because at one point, when you're in space, especially when you're going to Mars, you do have a delay between radio networks. So with 6G, it might be no delay or a very small delay. Now, obviously, we're all becoming mega consumers of internet data, and I myself on my phone, I use probably 40 gigs of internet a day, and 40 gigs of internet a month. But again, when we have faster speeds, that means we will also consume more data. So the question is 6G ready for us, or are we ready for 6G? I'm excited for it. I wouldn't, I wouldn't be not too excited about it because, we will have more artificial intelligence being implemented in 6G, or 6G being implemented more in AI and artificial intelligence. And, we're looking at an estimate of around 2030 for 6G, around 9 years away, but who knows, we might get it a little bit earlier. Our text lines are open 4215. Let me know, are you ready for a 6G universe? Or are you happy with the 5G you have now? I'm happy with the 5G, but you know what they say, there's always room for improvement.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
American Muscle. Now, when I said American Muscle, what is the number one thing that popped into your brain? Do text me in at 4215. But we do know American Muscle, right? We're talking about the Chargers, the Mustangs, the Camaros, the high-powered vehicles that sound is, I can't even explain how good they sound, and we can't even explain how much of a gas drinker they are. These cars use a lot of, petrol. But now, Dodge, who is the maker of Challenger and Charger muscle cars, is having a shift towards electric vehicles, believe it or not. Now, for a lot of, muscle car lovers, they're going to be very upset. But Dodge is phasing out its gas-powered Charger and Challenger muscle cars by 2024. So, you got 3 years left until you can no longer buy those muscle cars. But it is going in favor of electric muscle cars. Now, the company does plan to introduce its first concept EV by 2022, so next year. And then it will be followed by a plug-in hybrid and a third type of unknown vehicle. And that does follow Dodge's announcement all the way back in July that it would introduce its first e-muscle car by 2024, promising it will tear up the streets, not the planet, which actually, that is a great tagline, tearing up the streets instead of the planet. Now, at the time, the company and its parent company didn't say what would happen to its ICE vehicles. So ICE means internal combustion engine vehicles, but it has now clarified that, and I quote, that these cars that you know today will go out of production by the time we get to 2024. So we're no longer looking at gas-powered, petrol-powered Chargers and Challengers. Now, we're looking at the new electric vehicles, how they may use the 60s triangular Fratzog name and logo to differentiate them. And the first concept will arrive in 2022, will be an electric muscle car, and it will be revealed, we're looking at the next 4 or 5 months, as a high-performance drivable vehicle. And then after that, they're looking at the next model, which will be a plug-in hybrid. So we'll have a electric and a gas at the same time, a hybrid. And it will be a new car, but not a Durango. So Durango is their SUV, a very well-known SUV, and is very high-powered as well. So it's not going to be the Durango. And the third vehicle is unknown yet, but it will be, and I quote, very, very, very significant car at the end of the year. Now, Dodge, the company, owns Dodge. It owns I think Chrysler owns Dodge, or Dodge owns Chrysler. But in general, we're looking at 3 categories right now, 3 companies. We're looking at Chrysler, Jeep, and Dodge might be having a very big shift towards electric vehicles because they all fall under the same company, which I do believe is Chrysler. Now, a lot of diehard muscle car fans might not take the news very well because obviously they love their they love their performance, they love the muscle car, and the car community obviously is not very electric about electric vehicles, pun intended. But again, Dodge did previously advertise the Challenger in the Demon trim as the quickest 0 to 100 mile per hour production car in the world, with its large caveat that it does include or exclude non-mass production vehicles, supercars, and or hybrid vehicles. Now, I personally, you guys know me, I'm not really a big fan of electric vehicles because of reliability, as in terms of how long can I drive this car, because I like to always think about worst case scenario. Let's say I have to be in the capital today, and I have to go back to Sharjah at the same day, and I don't have an electric port. What am I going to do? I can't find it. It's all full. There's no charging stations, right? So I personally would not go for an electric vehicle until, I feel like everywhere there is an electric there's a charging point or a charging station, or I would get it as a second car. But again, I don't feel like I need a second car. But if I wanted an electric vehicle, I would keep it as a second car. I wouldn't keep it as the main car, just because I always think about worst case scenarios. I always want to be ready to be somewhere and come back at any given time. I don't want to be constricted to the point where, oh, my car doesn't have enough charge. It's already enough with my phone not, being charged all the time, and always thinking about before I go out, I would like my phone to be at least above 95%. But I do know a lot of people who keep, their Teslas as their main car, and they have no complaints. I haven't tried it yet, so maybe, I'm just overthinking it. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215, let me know. Are you excited for Dodge to move their two flagship cars, the Challenger and the Charger, to go EV, to go electric, to be an electric vehicle? I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, and I'm not a big fan of muscle cars anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me, but it does remove the feel of American muscle. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a short break, and when we come back, we're talking about NASA and how they are preparing to deflect an asteroid for the first time in a planetary defense mission.
Check this out. Check this out. Oh, 95.
Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking all about NASA. Now, the story I'm going to tell you about today, the story we're talking about today, at first glance, when you first hear about this, you're going to tell me, honey, this is out of a movie. This is out of the Armageddon movie where, there was asteroids falling to Earth and, America comes and destroys the asteroids and woo, day is saved, right? Well, that was from a movie, but ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about how NASA is preparing to deflect an asteroid for the first time in a planetary defense test. Now, NASA is set to launch a spacecraft that will test whether or not it can deflect an asteroid away from potentially catastrophic collision with Mother Earth. So, yes, they are testing it out, and they will see whether or not we are able to defend Earth if a huge asteroid comes and wants to destroy everything. And that is the same movie line, the plot of the Armageddon movie and a lot of movies. So are we now playing sci-fi movies in real life? It's no longer sci-fi, it is real life. It is not fiction, it is non-fiction now? That is the question. Now, fortunately enough, this asteroid that they will be, testing on is not a threat to Earth. But a lot of scientists, including Stephen Hawking, have described impact events as among the greatest threats that humanity will face. And we do know the dinosaurs, they went extinct because a huge asteroid put them away. Now, we're looking at a takeoff for the double asteroid redirection test, or in short, NASA calls it the DART mission. And it is scheduled for, next Tuesday, and the spacecraft is attached to its payload adapter in SpaceX's facility at the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. And it will be launched on a top of a Falcon 9 rocket. So we are looking at SpaceX, which is Elon Musk's space agency, helping NASA. And we do know that NASA did sign a contract with Elon Musk and SpaceX, and they will be providing a lot of their, supplies and materials and rockets. Now, the DART spacecraft itself is roughly the size of a small car, and its mission is being supported by the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory. Now, it will eventually slam into a much larger target and hopefully shift its orbit. Now, it will be observed by the Cube satellite, which is developed by the Italian Space Agency, and it will be the first ever demonstration of the kinetic impactor technique that will change the motion of an asteroid in space. Hanny, very big words. Yes, I know it's very big words. So basically, we're looking at the DART spacecraft being sent into space to redirect any asteroid coming to Earth. It will collide with the asteroid and redirect it so it will not hit our beautiful Mother Earth. Now, the culmination of the mission is estimated at around $330 million, and it will smash into a near-Earth doubled asteroid known as Didymos and Dimorphos, which, it's being a moonlet, and it's estimated to be around 160 meters in size. Now, we do know that at one point in time, there is a risk of whether or not an asteroid does hit Earth, and NASA does want to be prepared for it. So, we're ready. And we're having all the other space agencies, monitoring and seeing what could we do in a planetary defense mission if we do need to. But I do know that this is crazy, and when I first, saw the story and I was reading up on it, the number one thing that hit my brain was Armageddon, right? But ladies and gentlemen, I want to know your guys' thoughts. 4215, and let me know, are you scared of being one day hit by an asteroid? I'm not scared, as long as, NASA will come and save the day, apparently. But we got the halftime show, the only place to be at 3, with the man himself, Omar Edouri. Welcome to the show, brother. It's amazing having you on. I can't use this technological songs. I'm going to put the Eye of the Tiger, brother.
That.
When I see you, Omar, right? I feel motivated. I'm ready. I feel like I'm in a Rocky movie,
Yeah?
Let's go.
I've seen you box, by the way.
Yeah, it's horrible. But Omar, tell me, what are we expecting on the halftime show?
On the
place to
halftime
be.
show today, how much of a risk are people going to take on their players? Bayern Munich have cut wages for unvaccinated players now, and it's causing a problem in the sports industry. The Green Bay Packers did it with Aaron Rodgers after he lied about being vaccinated, and also in football, Bayern Munich, have started to cut wages for those players that are not taking the vaccine. So Europe is going crazy on that. LeBron James stole the headlines the other day following an elbow, and we're looking at whether that was actually merited or because of his profile that has really gone to the media. And the last but not least, Manchester United fans have been dropping messages in my DMs since last week. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer
What did you
has
say?
been sacked. I'm going to be talking about that on the show today.
I think you messed with the wrong crowd, right? Those Manchester fans, they don't play around.
They're serious.
Yeah?
They are serious. And they're asking me who's going to be the next manager. So we'll be discussing that and more on the halftime show.
Yeah, I mean, Omar, I'm not really big on football, but I do know, the Manchester fans were like, yeah, we don't want him.
Yeah.
And then when he went out with that interview,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I kind
feel
of feel
sorry
bad
for
for him, man. So, I mean, I'm really interested to see what's your take on that. But ladies and gentlemen, T-minus 7 minutes to halftime show, the only place to be at 3 with the man himself, Omar Edouri. I will be seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, only here on Pulse 95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.